Be do have, what does it mean? So basically, this is something I actually got a while back about a concept that actually helps people, overtake their thought of actually procrastinating things or in some way wanting to get something before they can actually do something. So basically, that is the concept of be do have. Now, I will be sharing my screen a little bit so that I can, explain very well what this means. And then we are in the new month, and then so I believe this is something that can actually get us to actually getting our goals right and us actually meeting our goals. Now, be do have is basically a concept whereby somebody thinks that they either have to like have something before they do something and before they become something. So let me give you a concept of this. Let's assume you want to make $1,000 in a month, or what else can we use apart from money? Let's say you want to become a musician, or you want to become an artist, or you want to become a great salesman, or you want to become anything. So let's take this for example. Let's assume you want to be a musician, for example. Now, it would be very silly of you to actually think you actually have to have the voice. Of course, there is a part whereby you need to have the skill, because talent, or when your art works against your skill, that is, you don't have the skill, but then your art wants it, the talent, it doesn't actually match to some extent. So now, what this basically means is that, okay, um, you want to attain some goals, but then you feel like you need to have some things before you actually attain those goals, or before you actually have those goals. Now, so basically, let me just this is a concept that most people actually use normally, and I'll be like sharing my screen. So number one is that they actually go through from the left to the right. That is, they want to have something before they do something and before they be that thing. That is, I want to have $1,000, or I want to have a great voice before I can sing and before I can become a great musician. Or I want to have these certain skills. I want to know how to talk to people before I can start talking to people and before I can become a great communicator. So basically, this is a concept whereby they feel like, okay, I need to have everything perfectly. That is, I need to have this setup, I need to have this setup, I need to have that, I need to have that, I need to have that before I can do this, which are meant to be done, and before I can become what I am meant to become, or before I can become what I want to become, or before I can eat or attain those goals that I want to attain. Now, this is a very, to some extent, wrong concept that I feel like it would only encourage procrastination more. That is, you will not get to do anything right. You would get to stay in one position. You will get to continue learning. Let's take, for example, you want to cold message people and want to cold call people. Now, it would be very silly that now there are some points whereby some people feel like, okay, I need to read, I need to learn. They learn, and it's something like I call more like knowledge paralysis, that they know a lot but they do little. That is, they know a lot of things, they know the skills that once you mention something about this particular thing, they have idea about it, they are knowledgeable about it. But once you look into their life, you find out that they are not actually doing that thing. It's not manifesting in their life. Those are the kind of people that I feel like they have lots of knowledge, but you are surprised that they're actually not doing anything. Now, it is very, very tempting. I can tell you for sure from past experience, very, very tempting for to try to learn everything before you can get into the field to actually do some things. It's very tempting for one to actually be in that aspect or be in that position. But it is a very, very wrong concept, because it will only encourage you to actually stay longer than what you're supposed to stay. It will encourage you not to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. Now, the very right concept that I can say, most especially if you know you're starting from scratch, is rather you should do what? You should be that thing. That is, what are the things that are required from a great communicator? If you want to be a great communicator, you cannot do it talking to yourself in the mirror. Of course, there is a part of training. Now, this is not to negate the aspect of you actually preparing, but prepare, but do more. You would learn more on the battlefield than you would while just training with sticks. You would learn more on how to be a great soldier when there is the war, when there is the sword, when there is the guns, not when there is a wooden sword or something and then everything is all fun and nobody is dying. So now, this is not to say you should go into the battlefield unprepared, but you have to become that person. Then you have to do that thing that you have to do, those things that are required to do, and then you can have those things that you need. I don't know if this makes sense. So the concept is you do what? You be. That is, what do you need to attain? What things do you need to be exposed to? What people do you need to be exposed to? What are the lessons you need to learn? Who are the people that you need to meet? What are those characteristics? What are the things, required actions? Now, this is basically just a video, a lesson to encourage action taking more than you would learning. You can learn, but you will learn more from taking actions. There is something I learned somewhere, which basically I'll just paraphrase this. Intensity. Basically, when you are intense about something, like when you do something intensely, you continuously do it, even if you are not an expert at that thing, particularly at that thing when you first starting, which nobody is at the very first instance. But you will get to start learning, because you will know these are the things I didn't do right. These are the things I need to do more of. These are the things I need to do less of. What are the things that did not allow you to achieve those your goals before? I know a lot of people that are still learning till today. Let's take, for example, going to network marketing, prospecting. They read a lot of books. And there was a story of a lady one thing that actually separates people who do from people that actually get results. From people that actually do more than they learn is the results. I've known somebody in terms of network marketing part that she had like a very large number of downlines and teammates or team members. And then when I met her personally, I was like, how, like, what books do you read? Because I used to be this kind of person at some particular time that I feel like, okay, let me learn more. I need to learn more. I need to know how to talk to people. I need to know what to say, my opening speech, this, and that. Like, okay, I haven't got this yet perfectly well. I need to like learn this more. And then when I asked her, okay, what books do you read? She was like, bro, I don't read any book. I basically learn from doing. Now, those kind of people, they don't need the blueprint. Like, they don't need the books. They don't need. If you are that kind of person, you would realize that you attain more, you get more results than people who learn, and continuously learn. Now, there is a difference between somebody who learns and somebody who does. Now, that is not to negate it. Somebody who learns and does more. I know a lot of like great speakers and great teachers or entrepreneurs that they pick a book for a purpose. Sometimes they don't pick it up to actually finish it. They pick it up, they learn what they need to learn, and then they go do it because they know where it's already ending. They know where it's already going. So most times, most books actually lead to the same thing. Like when you hear like lots of books, but basically they say it in different languages, but everything still is the same thing. Now, one thing that would differentiate you between somebody who learns is that you actually do. Now, if you can learn and do, you would actually get much more leverage than somebody who does not learn and does, because you will make less of mistakes. But most times, most people avoid the mistakes entirely. They don't want to make the mistake at all. Now, there is no way you would actually learn and you will still not make mistakes. There is a part where you actually have to like learn from your own experience at some point in time. You cannot escape that. But it will only slow you down if you decide to you just only want to learn without actually doing, and you put yourself in that learning paralysis. But you know a lot, you know the dangers, the things that would, the obstacles that you face that you do not now do what you're supposed to do. So, to some extent, I'll say this going from the have, do, and be may not be really feasible, because this is not something I feel like one can control, because before you can have, you have to like do. Now, you cannot go from, I would not advise you to go from this step to this step, because it can be hard, it can be tough. Now, what I would advise is you do what you be, what you're supposed to be, you do, and then you have what you're supposed to have, and then this continues. So you be, you do, and then you have. So be, what are you supposed to be? What are those things that you need to do? People that actually attain those things that you want to attain. People who you probably see, because before you can decide to become something, you probably would have been inspired by somebody who have actually attained that thing which you want to achieve. So what are those things that that person or those particular set of people did? You have to be that kind of person. You need to dump social media, scrolling mindlessly on social media? What are those things that you need to like sacrifice? What are those things you need to drop to become who you're supposed to be? What are those things that you need to do more of to become what you're supposed to be? Do them. Be that thing, do them, and then you have the results. So I hope this little video blesses somebody or speak to somebody. So if you actually go value from this, please, I would encourage you, and then I would implore you to like, leave a comment below, share, and then turn on the notification bell so that when any videos like this drop, you can easily be notified as fast as possible. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.